All right, here we go. I think we're live now. Hey guys, it's Rich, and thanks for tuning in to Kansas City's Networking Connection. And I am here with Serena Bales, and in a second we're going to talk to her. But as always, the first thing we need to do is we need to make our standard, non-standard disclaimer of, for the record, we are not, nor will we ever be giving legal, investment, or health advice on this channel. Our opinions are our own, and if you need those services, you should seek competent advisors in those fields. This information is presented for entertainment purposes only. You have been warned. And the idea behind this group is the Zig Ziglar quote: you can get everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. So that's what I do, is I just kind of help everybody, put everybody together and hope for the best. So anyway, Serena is here today, and she has an awesome story. And we've known each other for about 4 years and really kind of ran into each other at a MAREI event, I think is where it was, wasn't it, when we met up?
Yes. Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm just going to throw it to you and let you tell your story and kind of what you do, and then I'll ask all my questions.
Okay, sounds great. So my husband and I have invested in real estate in Kansas City for 8 years. And it started out as just a way to change our family tree. You know, we looked around and we said, if our kids are where we are now, is that where, would we be proud? And we weren't. So we started reading books, did the Dave Ramsey, bought our first house cash. It was a 4-2 over in KCK, 66106. We still have the property in our portfolio to this day. We've done 4 different financial strategies with it, and just really enjoying the entire process. And they always say stick with one process or stick with one strategy. No, we've done pretty much all of them. We love to be creative. I always say properties numbers will tell you what to do with it. We have 4 kids. We involve all 4 of our kids in what we do. About that same time, we also started a trucking company. I had a trucking company for 5 years. It was solely a vehicle to build capital to reinvest.
Right.
We sold that 3 years ago, and that was the exact same time when I realized there was a huge gap in communication with real estate investors and real estate agents.
100%.
So I was building our portfolio. I was managing property management. I was managing a trucking company. I was working for the trucking company and going to all the appointments for all 4 kids for after school events.
Wow.
And I was just trying to find an agent to leverage my time. And I was so frustrated. My husband's like, just go get your license. And I was like, great, I'll get out of the truck. I'll go get my license. He's like, no, wait, you can do that online. You can do it while you're in a truck. So I studied, got my real estate license while I was driving a semi.
Awesome. So, well, that's cool. Cause I mean, that's, it's one of those things, if it's important to you, you will find the time.
That's exactly right.
And that's kind of what I believe all the time. If it's important, you will make time for it. So, so anyway, I guess you kind of got into our first question. How did this start with, you trying to find the right agent, which I had a similar instance, and sometimes you just got to do it yourself, right? So, so now, how long have you been doing the real estate stuff? You guys have been owning versus you being an agent.
As far as just investing?
Yes.
Yeah. So we've been investing for 8 years, and I've been agent for 3 years.
Agent for 3 years. Right. So, and then what was the biggest issue with getting started being an agent?
Your misconceptions on what sales looks like. I hired a coach because I wanted to hit the ground running. So I paid way too much money. I went into a year contract, and it was the best money I ever spent, because after 6 months, I fired him. And it was wonderful because it told me exactly what I didn't want to do.
Right.
And the type of agent I didn't want to be. Because when you're an investor realtor, it's different.
Totally.
Than being a retail agent. Yep. And
the demands are different. I mean, the demands are completely different.
Absolutely. It's for me, it's a passion and it's a lifestyle.
So, did anybody tell you that this wouldn't work when you started?
Yes.
And how did that conversation go?
I've been through 4 brokerages.
Oh yeah, right.
You have to make sure you find a home, and it's a supportive home, and it gives you everything you need. And so anytime I talk to a new agent, I'm like, make sure you write down exactly what you're looking for, what you need, and then go find that. Because everybody's going to try to tell you and give you this beautiful story.
I'm pretty fortunate where I've been at one place, you know, and
yes,
I just kind of do stuff like
lucky.
this, and they go, well, I guess you're going to do that. And I'm like, yes.
Well, and luckily I don't stay in one place long. If I find out it doesn't fit.
Right. It doesn't jive. Right.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's smart. I mean,
like,
there's no point waste your time. Right.
Right. It took me 6 months with the mentor, but I mean, in reality, that's not a very long time.
Right. Yeah. So, now I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you love what you do now?
I am so passionate about what I do.
So
much so that I can't wait to share it with others.
I know. And you know, it's funny when we go to meetings, I mean, you are working the room, talking to everybody, trying to figure out who you can help. And, you know, that's the other thing about a lot of agents. They're kind of quasi introvert. They won't go around and shake hands and do everything. And, you know, my goal is when I leave the room, everybody knows who I am. And I know you're the same way.
Right.
So, because I'm there to just help people do whatever they need to get done. So, right. And I think you get them with the same attitude.
Right. Knows that I know that I'm going to try to help them in the way they need me to.
Right.
Not in the way that's best interest in mine.
So I guess you kind of got into this a little bit, but how did you find that job? I mean, like, you know, I know you said you just decided to become an agent, but it's more than being an agent, because I mean, there are so many specialties within real estate. Absolutely. And you found that niche. So how did you go, like, man, that's the thing I want to do? Like, was there somebody online or something that you saw and that's the one I'm going to do?
It developed over my first year. So like most entrepreneurs, we are all about the bright and shinies.
Oh yeah. So, I love those.
Yes. I love the multifamily. I love the commercial. Oh, by the way, there's a condo. Let me go check that out. I did all of that in my first year. And I really encourage people to do that, because you don't know if that's what you're going to like until you do it.
Sure.
But when you're doing it, make sure you find a mentor. When I did do the condo, I found 2 other agents. That's all they do is condos. So I did service my client to the best of my ability.
Right.
And I quickly realized that's not for me. And then I invented what I do.
Okay. Well, yeah, because yours is such a niche. I mean, it's like super niche on what you're doing.
Right. I super niche down. And I also stay in my lane.
So why don't I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit here, because you mentioned a mentor, and well, I'll keep it on track. The thing is, on the next question, it's, I think you kind of answered it a little bit. It's about if somebody wanted to follow the same career path, how would you recommend them doing it the same way, or is there a better way?
Oh, there's definitely a better way.
Yeah. And how would that, I mean, what is that better way? Do you think, if they were going to just say, I want to do what she's doing right now, what would you recommend?
So I keep 4 blocks on my schedule every single month just for that.
Okay.
Because there's such a need in our market to do what I do, that I already anticipate meeting that next person that wants to do it.
Right. Awesome.
And you have to find a mentor that speaks your language. You have to find a mentor that is on the direct path that you want to go. And that takes time. That takes vetting on both sides. So if I have 4 blocks on my schedule every single month, that gives me that time to find those people that are serious, motivated, and want to do this.
I've had a handful of people that reach out and they oh yeah, I'm ready, and man, they're not working.
And all the real estate investment events that I co-host and host, I plug you in. I'll send you a list of all those events. If you start attending those, I know you're invested.
Yeah, you're serious, right? So what, if those people out here watching right now, what do you need help with right now? What can they help you with if they, that you really need to make your day better?
Just new connections.
Okay.
If you know there's someone out there that's struggling, that needs help out of a situation with a distressed home, even if it's not distressed, they
Right.
just need help finding creative options. That's one of the things I'm so passionate about. I love creative options.
Yeah. And you do good. We're actually here in a little bit. I want you guys to stay tuned because I'm going to have Serena tell you guys that the deal she just kind of is finishing up right now because it's pretty amazing. But while I got a break here, I want everybody to realize that Serena's contact information is in the description. So go out and look at it. And then reach out to her. Be sure to like and share this and then click the bell so you get notifications on YouTube. But anyway, don't hesitate to reach out to her because she is ready to help you at any time. So now you mentioned mentors, and I like mentors. I don't have an official mentor. I kind of use a lot of different people, and then I use their kind of mentality to help keep me square. So
and
how did you find your mentor?
What it looks like.
Yeah. How did you find your mentor?
You get into those classes and they're like, okay, you need to get your power team. You need to go out and ask people to like mentor you or be on your team. And most of my mentors that I have found are people that communicate in the same way I do. They're where I want to be. And I go to them. I make it very easy for them to train me. So one of my mentors is an investment broker. He is not with my brokerage. He's with another one. It doesn't make any difference to me which brokerage you're at. And I call him in the mornings and say, hey, where are you going to be at today? And if any one of his locations matches mine, I will go to where he is at. And I will talk to him and learn from him.
Right. No, that's the best thing.
With all of them.
Yeah. No, that's awesome because that's, really what they are. And that's kind of the way I utilize them. I don't need somebody to tell me, hey, you got to do these things every day. I just need somebody to help keep me on the straight and narrow, right? Because the shiny stuff is, whoo, and I've got to go, no, we're going to finish doing these other things first. So,
or sometimes it's the ones that call you out.
Yeah, no, right.
Hey,
exactly.
Listen, you could be doing this way better. I'm like, can I take you to
lunch? More than one occasion, I've had one of my buddies he's been my buddy since high school. I'm like, hey man, I'm going to start doing this. And he goes, you know what you need to do? He goes, what you already do really, really well. Don't go pick up something else. I'm like, you might have a point. So, is he an official mentor?
I do not do property management.
Right.
I've done it. I love it, but I'm not going to do it for you.
See, I just do it really well where I'm so much of an asshole in the very beginning that they go, we don't want to mess with that guy. And it's even my own properties. Nobody knows we own them. I just go, that owner is a complete asshole and you don't want to do anything wrong. And they go, why do you work for such a guy? I need the money, man. And we just don't really have any problems if you lay out ahead of time. Hey, look, nobody wants to work for this guy. So, anyway, and then, okay. How can people get a hold of you?
The best way is just by calling me.
Okay. And you throw out your number.
Yep. 913-912-9350.
And your email and stuff's in the description. And then I would like you to take a few minutes here because we're still good on the time for this, but kind of explain the current deal you're doing and how it came about and everything, because it is a very interesting story, and it kind of gives people like, traditional agents they're not like you and I. You and I can pretty much find a way to make something work no matter what we're presented with. And I think you did a fantastic job, like over and above what I normally see you and I do on this one here. This is pretty amazing.
Right. So traditionally, we look for flips, and this was what we initially went into this looking at. It was on the Pre-MLS. It was Overland Park. It's a 4-2. It was on the Pre-MLS for...
hold on. Let's tell everybody what Pre-MLS is in case somebody's watching doesn't know.
Oh, so Pre-MLS is what they put out there so other agents can say, okay, if they have a buyer, I know this property's coming. It's not on the market yet, so meaning they have to take pictures or do all their preparation. It just gives them
typically the
time.
Coming soon signs.
Yeah, it's coming soon. Exactly. And after a week, it canceled. And this was on the mark, or it was on the pre-MLS for 235 after repair value, meaning if this house was perfect condition, it could be conservatively on the market for 287. So it was extremely discounted. I was definitely keeping an eye on it, and it canceled after a week. So I reached out to the agent. Anybody who's listening, take a note. I didn't call the seller. I reached out to the agent. I said, hey, what's going on? And he said, you know what? There was an accident with the family. The kids are now responsible. They don't want to deal with it. And I said, what can I do to help? And I said, let me get my husband, who does repairs, over and let's get an estimate. Let's actually see what the damage is that needs to get repaired. He said, that would be great. So my husband over there estimated about $35,000 worth of repairs. The family was like, no way. We can't do it. We can't afford it. I said, okay, let us get a partner out there. He's going to give you a cash offer. Wonderful. It was such a blessing. They just want to get out from underneath this house. They already have stress upon stress with the accident in the family. And so we went out, offered $200,000 on the property. And they said $215,000. And we're like, no, we can close cash in 2 weeks. $200,000. We stuck to our guns. They didn't have to take it. They did. So we got under contract for $200,000. Right before that, I had an investor. And he was like, I want to look on market for properties in Overland Park. I want them to be 4-bedroom, 2-bath, no HOA. He wants to make it in a short-term rental. And I said, well, it just so happens I'm looking at a property. So normally you purchase a property, you do rehab, you find a buyer, you get profit. That's normally how it looks. In this particular case, what I did is found a property, found a buyer, got the profit, did the rehab. Totally out of,
Oh yeah, no, but it's brilliant. And
so
what a deal.
The property. He paid us all of our profit up front, and we got our guys to do all the rehab because we already had the rehab estimates. We already had scope of work, and I just made sure that our guys were set to do it. We have to keep our team busy.
Right.
And that was part of it.
Well, and here's the thing, that's that you had already done all the groundwork. So this investor knew, oh yeah, well, they're going to come in. It's not going to be a big surprise later, right? It's not like he's not buying something that he has no idea what it's going to cost him in the end. So, I mean, right. And you've done enough of these where you go, yeah, I know. I mean, we do this all the time. We can come in. We're not going to, if we're over, it's going to be by minuscule amounts. Right. So, so that's, and that's part of doing it. And I got to commend you again for thinking outside the box. I know a lot of people think of this like, oh, you took advantage of that family or whatever. And it's not like that. People don't understand that when these folks, it's hard to believe, but there are people who they are really saddled with a property they can do nothing with because the amount they owe versus what they can sell it for with commissions and everything else, they're really trapped in this home. And even sometimes where they're trapped in where they just can't afford to do anything, and even the house is paid off, right? So it's just that because of it won't qualify for a loan or whatever else. So you are not only helping that family, but you're helping that community because that house then becomes a disrepair, and the neighborhood starts to suffer and everything. And like these guys that go into Kansas City, Missouri, God love them, and they're fixing up all those neighborhoods. I mean, I'm not going to do it just because I just don't see to me, it doesn't make financial sense for what they're doing, but man, they're doing it and they're cleaning up the whole town. And I don't think anybody gives those investors the credit they deserve.
Right. And, and especially if something traumatic happens with a family,
yeah, right.
How consuming that is. This is like the last thing on your mind.
Yeah. Right.
And you don't want it to just sit there empty. Winter's coming on. We remember that last freeze in February.
Oh yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah, ask those people in Texas about just random weather events, last year. So, I mean, it's something else, and I think that far too many people, they think it's bad or whatever. And I don't think so. Those people clearly needed your help, and I commend you for helping them and give them something. Because here's the thing, it was going to be, you were the bank probably in the end, and you gave them way more than the bank would have.
Right.
So, so anyway.
Well, and that's it. We see that. We see what happens if you don't take action quickly.
Yes. Right. So, So anyway, again, if you guys share, like this and share the group, we're trying to grow this group. We appreciate everybody doing what they can to try to help, connect each other. And so if you want to get a hold of Serena, you got her information out there. Is there anything before we cut it off today that you'd like to tell everybody, kind of a final thought?
Yeah, no, just what other professionals that are in the market, whether you're a service provider, wholesaler, agent, investor, just call me.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm a wealth of information. I have an extensive network, and it's
she's
all
nice.
open.
Right, and you're nice too, so that never hurts. So
sometimes,
yeah. I mean, she was even nice to me. So I mean, and I'm a jerk. So. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get with us. And thank you again, Serena, for making time for me. And we'll talk to you guys later. So have a great day.
Bye, guys.